Hey there, Brewberries. What's up, and welcome to another episode of Brew and Build. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm having a wonderful day. We are back on the island, as we always are, and we're going to be working today on some cool stuff. So, today what I would like to do, we've got these houses here. Today I'd like to tackle this build right here. It's going to change a little bit. I think I've made it a wee bit bigger than it needs to be, but I think it's going to be a fun one. So I've had some ideas on this, and last week I did not release a Brew and Build episode because I've been planning out this build a little bit, not necessarily the build itself, but thinking through the like what I want the background of it to be. And then I've also been primarily thinking through, and I'm still thinking through, how I want the windmill to look. And the windmill's coming along. I've been trying to figure out how can I explain this water, because we're pretty committed at this point to having the water. I have a good idea now, and I think it's going to be really good. But that's what I've been doing, and why we didn't have a video last week is because I've been wanting to plan this out, and I don't want to rush the build because it is going to be like the primary build. I mean, it's going to be quite big, and so it's going to definitely take up a lot of the skyline, and so you don't want to rush that type of thing. And so that's why we didn't have a video last week, so hopefully you can forgive me. But we're going to be focusing on this build today, and I think I'm going to lay out, maybe if I get some more of the planning done, I'm going to lay out like the general structure of the windmill in between a couple clips, just so you can get the idea of how big it's going to be. But I'm really truly expecting, the reason why this build is so darn short is because I don't like, it doesn't matter how tall it's going to be. Like the windmill is going to probably stick up to like all the way up there, so it's going to be in line with this. I imagine it could be even taller, and it's going to probably take up quite a bit of horizontal space just because of the windmill blades that are going to be on it. So that's why I've kind of kept this build smaller. I am still going to change this into a kelp farm or something like that. I just need to kind of get my act together on it. Now that it's not actually a functioning coral farm, I just need to rethink it. And it's really not that big of a deal. I do love the kelp blocks, so it's actually, maybe we can set it up to being a automatic kelp farm that then automatically smelts it or something like that. We could figure something out like that. But today we're going to be focusing on this build, and I've been approaching it as something called a Parthenon, and I am going to be going back on that. Do I have any diorite on me? I have exactly 2. Well, that's okay. We can kind of take these. I'm going to be going back on that because of a few things. The plan I have is, I think, a little bit better. I've been calling it a Parthenon because of the build style, not because of the actual building function. And so I originally was thinking it was going to be Parthenon-y in the sense that it was going to be a sort of, almost feels like a temple type of thing. But I have come to the conclusion that I don't want to do that. And a couple of reasons why. For one, if we're going to be doing the monastery type of build over on the other island over there, then we don't need to have a temple type of religious thing over here, because that was originally going to be part of the town and all of that. And so, like, before the flooding happened. And so there's no real need to truly do that. So if I want to do maybe this, and then bring this in by 1, 2, 3. How big is that? That's still relatively big. I'm trying to figure out exactly how this bigger square, I think, is going to be how maybe large. Well, no, I don't even want it that big. It's not going to be a huge build, honestly. But I was originally going to try and figure out like how to make it this big old temple type of thing, or this big old, I think the idea I eventually landed on was, let's make it into a sort of trading hub area. And now that we have our fish market area, I'm kind of thinking that maybe what we do is we adapt the build and say it used to be something that was of importance, but now is a little bit less important because of the circumstances this town is in now. So the original idea is going to be that this used to be a sort of trade area, and then due to certain circumstances, they Does that line up? Oh, look at that. Look how solid that is. Oh, and oh no, I missed it. Darn, forgive me. And so this used to be a form of like trade area. And over time, and the flooding happened and all of that stuff happened, they decided to move their trading down closer to the docks because that is what they are primarily doing. They're having more exports of that sort of stuff. And so instead of trying to just tear this down and start from fresh or have this adopted into something else, like consider this a like old trading hall that they decided to repurpose. And because of their more aquatic lifestyles now, they deal with this. Is this even or odd? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it is. Cool. This I don't really care about. Because of their lifestyles being more aquatic now, they deal with the sea quite a bit. Now, how much space is over here? So lots of nature over here, lots of nature over here, here. Not as much nature over here, but that's okay. I'm really just wanting to make this maybe we do extend it over this. Well, no, I think this is honestly probably good. The reason I'm trying to figure this out is I don't want the build to be massive. The roof is going to be bigger than the base. But I want to be able to have kind of nature everywhere, and I want this nature to be over here and like trees and stuff. I want it to be a very peaceful, calm area. So the whole main idea, what I'm building up to, is that all of their stuff is like aquatic based now. Like they used to be have a farming oriented area where in the original design of the place, I had crop fields up here. But originally, before the flooding would happen, they would have crop fields underwater down here. And we're still going to have those crop fields, and they're still going to be active and being used. They're just going to be different. And so because of the way things are now and how flooded everything is, the crop fields are going to be growing like kelp. Like there's going to be a crop field here, crop field there, crop field over there, crop field there. And they're going to be growing like kelp, seaweed, or seagrass, I guess, and coral. And then potentially another coral thing that is like coral plants or something like that. And so that is the goal, that's what's going to be underwater. And they're repurposing their old crop farms that are now flooded. Like they already had bounding boxes and stuff for the crop fields. And so we're going to essentially say that they're repurposing their old fields. And then they are moving all of their dry type of crops to the monastery island and repurposing the monastery. And so that island, just for survivability's sake, is like going to be changed to being more of their dry goods type of farming area. And because of that, they don't necessarily because they deal with going underwater. Like some people, their daily activity is go underwater and farm seaweed and all that stuff. So they're constantly in and out of the water. So I thought it would be really good if they had a place to be able to wash off. And so that's why we're going to be doing this. This town market thing this trading hall is what I was originally going to do it as, is going to become a bathhouse. And I think that's actually a really kind of cool concept because we can have this really cool really open, like walls have been knocked down and stuff type of bathhouse that is like just a public, you're not supposed to like fully wash yourself, bring your soap and all that stuff and like really scrub yourself down and all that. But the goal is to be able to get the salt and stuff off of you so that you are moderately clean and you don't have to like really like fully wash yourself every single day, if that makes sense. And so it's just like to help with the daily grime of the work that they now do. I thought that was a good concept and was something that could be kind of interesting. And so the reason I keep calling it like a Parthenon type build is because it's going to have that like pillar structure that the Parthenon has, if I'm thinking of the correct building. But it's going to have that very like Greek pillar style, similar to that. It's going to be very much open like that, but it's going to be obviously rectangular, not a dome. And it's going to be surrounded by nature. And so it's supposed to be just like this peaceful, tranquil place. And it's going to tie into the windmill, which is going to be really cool. Now you may be wondering, how in the world is it going to tie into the windmill? And I will tell you that, but how about we just go ahead and start building it, and I'll tell you it once we start building the part that is going to be tying into this whole thing. Alrighty, so I've done a little bit more planning to figure out exactly what we want to do here, and I think I have something that is going to be quite nice. So it's a little bigger than my original design, but I think it's going to be good. So we're going to have quartz stairs all the way around, and it's a much thinner building than it is wide, obviously. And the goal is going to be that you should, like, this will be like the main entrance, but you should be able to get up from any side. So we're going to have some like azalea trees, I think, up here, and then an azalea tree like over here. And I just want it to be surrounded by nature. And I think overall it's going to look really nice. Now I've gone and gathered up, this uses a lot of quartz, and I think we should be good to make some of these. I don't know how many of these, so I'm just gonna make half a stack of pillars, and then where every single one of these blocks are is going to be a pillar. And so we don't need to actually replace all of the blocks that are down here. Actually, all of these calcite blocks, nope, they'll have to change. Never mind. It'll depend on what they look like, I suppose, if I decide to keep it or not. But for right now, they're not going to change. Mainly because I'm smelting up some smooth quartz, and smooth quartz, I don't think I've ever actually made it. I had no idea that you had to actually smelt it. So shows how much I actually have used quartz in builds. This is honestly the first time I've really experimented around. This is the 2-1. Yeah, okay. And this is even, and we'll get to why it's even in just a little bit. But this is going to end up being, let's see, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5. I think that is what we're going to do. I may end up actually doing some regular quartz blocks here. We're definitely going to need more pillars, that's for sure. But I'm thinking about doing regular quartz blocks here at the top, because I think it'll end up looking better. And then especially we can do it at the bottom as well. I think that'll cap it off really nicely as well. Yeah. I think that's a good call to do. So we're going to have to replace all that, but that is okay. We can go like this, 3, 4, and then 5. And so I'm going to do this all the way around, and then we will get up to what we're going to build next. All right, so we got our smooth quartz and should be able to make all of it into stairs. The stairs are going to be lining the inside like so. The corners, not so much, but the inside like this is going to be all stairs. And you know what? Calcite's not looking too shabby. This is going to take a lot more than we currently have, so I will have to make more. That is okay. But we're going to have calcite like this, or not calcite. The quartz like this. Let's actually do the front so we can just get that kind of squared away. Now the floor in here is actually going to be pretty interesting because it's going to be made out of kelp blocks, and it's mainly because in a larger form it looks like kind of like a big old tile set, and I thought that would fit well considering this is going to be a bathhouse. There's probably some tiling going on, and so I thought it made sense. And I also just really enjoy the kelp block, and looks like we don't have any ground underneath. That is okay. I also have some more kelp. We're not going to have enough here, but I do have some kelp cooking, and we need some for the walls as well, or well, the like upper wall area. So let's just go ahead and dig this all out. And so this is what it will look like. And it looks just like one big old tiles, and I thought that looks really nice. Also adds a little bit of like, I don't know, a little griminess and stuff to it. I think it looks pretty decent overall. And then on this side, we are going to have stairs as well. So stairs are going to be wrapping around it like so. And then we will also be having some blocks of quartz right here. And we're going to have a block of quartz here, and like so. And then the stairs will wrap around that. And I'm thinking that what we're gonna do is instead of putting a stair here, we'll put slabs, and I may do the same thing here. No, I don't think so. I think those side corners can be there, but we'll put slabs on these sides, so we only need a couple of those. And I'm trying to honestly be a little bit wary as to like how I'm using this anyways, because it's definitely a pricey build to be doing for sure. And let's just go ahead and do that. But I think it's worth it because it looks really cool. So we've got regular quartz stairs. That'll go right there. There's going to be like a chest that's like a, I don't know, some form of offering chest or payment chest or something like that. Yeah, this is going to have to change, I bet. It's not going to look that good. I wonder if we do, since we have so much chiseled, what does that look like? It's not bad. I mean, if we did chiseled all the way around instead, I was going to do smooth, but I think honestly, yeah, the chiseled looks pretty cool. I actually like it. And we have a decent amount of it that I think we could get away. The calcite actually goes moderately well because it does have like pink flecks in it. But I'm wanting, this is going to change anyway, so that doesn't matter. I'm wanting it to feel smoother and much more cohesive togetherness. And so if we were going for, say, like doing the lighthouse, say we're doing the lighthouse in quartz, and we'll have quartz, we'll have calcite, we're gonna have diorite, we're gonna have like the whole shebang in the well, windmill that will also be a lighthouse. And we're gonna have the whole shebang in it, but it's okay because from afar it's gonna meld better together. And this build is small enough that I think it needs to all be quartz. Yeah, we're gonna have plenty of this chiseled stuff to go around. Yeah, I actually really like that. I dig that. Very cool. Okay, so we need more smooth stairs, of course, which is slight pain, but that's okay. We have, I wish there were quartz block stair, like quartz brick stairs. I wish that was a thing. That would be awesome. Let's go ahead and just make the whole batch, and then I need to sleep. I'm gonna go ahead and get like the framework of the roof in too, because it's nothing special. There's a little bit of a design on it, not the roof itself, but on the other extremities side of it. And so I'll do that with you, but let me get the like framework of it built. All right, I got the framework done and it's looking pretty good, I think. So we're gonna have kill blocks up there. They're gonna be a background block, so you're not really gonna see them too much. I just wanted to have a dark background that also had a little bit of like an accent color to it. And I thought this matched well since we're using it for the floor. And this all will be underwater, but right now it's not because we're walking around here. But what we're going to do is we're going to make a little bit of an interesting design on this front face. And you know what? Quartz block is probably the most expensive scaffolding ever, but it works because it's actually pretty dang nice to have. So how are we going to do this? Well, firstly, we're using smooth in the middle of here because it'll all connect up and look real pretty and nice. We're going to do slabs like so, and then pretty much everything else is just stairs. And you just do stairs like that. I was wrong again. You got to put them like this. So that's what this is going to look like. And then I'm trying to decide if I want to do a slab here or a stair. I think maybe we go ahead and do a slab. I think that'll look good. We're going to put a button right here as well. Warped button will be good. The reason why quartz block actually makes a decent scaffolding is because it insta breaks. And I know we have the beacon, but it still insta breaks pretty much. And that's what the front's going to look like. It's going to be much more ornate. And I thought it kind of, to me, feels a little bit banky. And I thought that fit well with the whole like behind the scenes lore type of stuff about how this used to be a place where people would go to trade, and then now it is not. So we need 5 stairs, and then we need 3 slabs in total in order to make that. So let's go ahead and get on the back side here and do that as well. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna be working on this section. So on all of these pillars will eventually be this and this. So we'll have a little bit of a tiny little arch that goes through, just add a little bit of an accent. And then It'll also help cover up the kelp blocks and just make it feel all connected. And then that's what the button looks like on it. Nothing exciting, but that's okay. The next thing that I would like to do, I'll add the quartz over here, but we're going to get into the roof, and it's going to be similar to our other roofs. This is the only one that's actually going to have a triangular shape. I suppose the windmill lighthouse stuff is going to actually be kind of a cone roof because that's kind of what it's going to have to be. This is going to be the only one that is triangular, and I think that's okay. I think that they can kind of have their own layer on this building. It may stick out a little bit and feel a little strange. I think it will be okay. So as I said, we're just going to be doing warped wood all the way across, and then we'll go through and texture it up using a bit of the oxidized cut stairs and then a tiny bit of prismarine as well. Just some of the more like the cut prismarine look. I don't know exactly what they're called, but they're the prismarine bricks, I believe. And we're going to be using those because they'll fit in well with kind of the tile feel that the copper will give. And the warped wood is going to be the predominant thing primarily because of how hard it is to get copper right now. 118, we should have done, honestly, this build style in 118 because of how much easier it's going to be to get copper. And I really am kind of sad that we did it now, but we can always come back, and once we have a ton of copper, we can always come back and make it better and fill out all of this with copper. But you know what? We probably won't. Knowing our knowing how we generally do things, we generally finish things off or leave them be, and then that's about it. And boy, howdy, did this use a lot more stairs than I thought. I mean, we still have to texture variate, but yeah, I used a lot more than I thought. So I'm gonna have to go and mine some more of this stuff, which is semi-annoying, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get the variation in a bit, and then I will show you kind of the end result. All right, so that is what it's going to end up looking like. And I mean, obviously the copper has to patina and all that, but it's going to look good. It'll look more like there's a good picture of it. Like up there, that is what it'll look like. Just a little bit of a texture variation going on, but nothing too crazy. And yeah, so that's a good combo of textures if you are wanting to do a similar roof style that has like a blue roof. Obviously, you can like mix all these things together and they end up looking pretty decent. So let's get the other side done. Okay, I went and did a little bit more building, and I got the roof and the ceiling all done. So both sides all done. Looking handy dandy and all nice and pretty. And now I'd like to build the tie-in between this build and what the windmill will be doing. So the windmill, as I said, is going to be all about pumping water. They've repurposed it, essentially. Before it was going to be like your standard windmill, grind mill type of thing for their like wheat and all that stuff that they used to grow. But now, because of how things are going, they have shifted and made it so that it pumps water from an underwater spring, and that is what explains the little pond and stuff. And maybe it used to do that before as well, and this is nothing new. But I thought it would be interesting. Maybe they tied it in so that the water then now circulates between here and goes back through and filters, comes back, goes out to there, and then drains back into the place. And they have like a closed system so that they never really run out of water. And it kind of, they've got their filtration system that we don't have to build because it'd be underground, and no one's going to see it when it's there. I promise. I swear it's there. So to do this, what we're going to do is just simply make a cool little block area that has a, pretty much it's just going to be like it's like a big faucet. It's where the water is just going to constantly be dumping on out. And it's going to be pretty simple to do. All we're doing is putting in a square little hole. And now that we can waterlog blocks, it makes this a whole heck of a lot easier. So that's where the water is going to be coming out. And then they're going to be, we need to put a block right here so that we can get on the inside and place a block here and a block here. And there's some interesting stair connectivity stuff going on here. So this is connecting up and making a nice little hole here. But if we put a stair right here, look at that. It acts like it's connecting up to these and makes a corner block when we're placing it on the side. So we get this cool little design here, and it's just right there on the edge, and I think it honestly looks pretty good. So we're gonna put stairs right like so, right like that, and oh, we're actually right there. And then they're gonna go right along right here, and then slabs on top. And there's the hole. Now, it's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done because the water will just look like it's kind of flowing out of here. And then what I'd like to do, if we can get our copper, I would like to make 2 lightning rods. Now this may be a little dangerous to have near the bathtub, but it's not going to act as a lightning rod in this circumstance. It's going to actually be the sort of faucets to turn the water on and off, and or hot and cold type of situation. They've got this crazy technology that does it. Don't know how, don't need to explain it, but it's going to be so that will be like the indication that this is how you turn it on and off. So they have a little bit of control there. I was going to do like a chain type of system where it's like a pulley, but it ended up not looking all that great. And so I kind of scrapped that. But now we're going to get into why this is going to be such a cool build. Like this is already, I mean, it's fairly interesting. It's pretty fun looking, but it's nothing like revolutionary or fun. Let's make it revolutionary and fun. How about ya? So I'm going to fill this with water, and I'm going to get to putting some leaves up top. It's going to be an entirely overgrown ceiling with glowberries, of course. And there's going to be some cool lantern stuff going on, which I actually think I'm probably going to have to go get more copper to do, alas. But I think it's going to be worth it. So let me get to doing just a bit more building, and we'll come back to hopefully the final result. My voice cracked there. That was very bizarre. Let's just get on to building so I don't have to keep talking and have my voice crack, huh? Alrighty, y'all. I've been doing some building, and we are now done with our little area over here, and I'm very pleased with it. It's so tranquil and nice. Just look how fun it is. Oh, it looks so cool. I've also really started loving the using stacked trees to make bigger ones, especially with the azalea because it grows a little funky. So you get kind of these like weird curvy trees. And I actually really like it. I love this one. This one's stacked so wonderfully to make like this tall tree, but it's because azalea grows in like weird ways, it's like gapped. Oh, I love it. It's so good. And there's also another tall one over here that I stacked 2 on top of 1. They look so good. If you aren't doing this with azalea trees, like know that this is an easy, easy way to make it. You don't even have to clear the daggum dirt out. I just left it up there. Kind of just looks like a messed up bark area. But anyhoozle, that's not the build. But that was kind of the cool thing I found. So I'm working on the road and stuff, getting it slowly but surely. We'll get this. I'm going to work on this in between episodes as I am planning this build out. I'm going to try and do some like cleanup stuff around here because we need to put some trees here. I found once I put trees here, I just started realizing how much life adding some trees around would do for this area. So we're going to put like a tree here. We're going to put a couple trees here, make this really feel naturey. And I think it's going to really, really help make this area feel good. I'm going to clean up that stupid garbage because it doesn't work. I'm upset still, and I just don't want to. That's one of those things, you build something and then you're just like, why did I put myself through this? Why did I? What benefit has this done for me? Now I just have created more work. Oh, but that's the life of Minecraft. Anyway, let's look at this. Let's look at this build because I absolutely love it. So I've got some paths over here to be able to just get onto the sides, and I think it's just like they don't need to be stone or anything like that, but they do match well. They look pretty good, and they can get, especially that side, you can get to the nozzle. But this is like the main entrance. I was gonna put a chest here for like donation type stuff, but it didn't make sense, so I put a lantern. And here we are. Oh, so good with the flowering azalea leaves and the glowberries adding in some stuff. Oh, it's good. I'm quite a fan. So we've got some fun stuff to go through here. So lots of potted azalea trees. I thought that just made it, I needed something to cause some like difference between the pillars and the ground. And I thought that adding some potted plants, especially these, they look so good and they're so nice. And then we've got armor stands, and the armor stands are supposed to be like, they've got their like robes and stuff on them. And so there's a few with some robes, maybe some pants and stuff. And the goal of this is not to make a place that's like, this is where you do all of your full on washing. It's more of a like, get the grime and relax from the day type of thing. So more like hot springs bath type of thing versus like full on washing yourself. I mean, I guess you could wash yourself here, but more supposed to be for a family event and not necessarily to get butt naked and then wash yourself like that. Yeah, we don't. PG, kids, PG. But this is what I wanted to do with some of the copper things. They make really cool chains, and I thought it was really fun tying into the acacia. So I just added a couple of these little doodads hanging around, and I think they look very nice. And then you are going to keep growing, and that's a problem. I wish you could just like, there was a block that you could slap onto any sort of vegetation of any kind that grows, like vines and stuff, and it would just not grow. You just like halt it in its place, like it's like a fossilizer or something. I don't know. I just feel like needs to be a thing. But anyhoozle, this is what it looks like. This place, this build, it's pretty nice. Nature all the way around. Some things growing. Bamboo's gonna get a little out of hand, so I'll have to clean that up. But I love this build. This was such. I'm so glad that I made the call to make this into a bathhouse because I think it just looks so good. And then also look at it in shaders. Now my frame rate is gonna definitely take a hit because of this, but just look at it, especially when the sun sets. Oh, guys, I mean, come on. How do you beat that? Look at this. Just look at the reflections. I'm using complementary shaders. That's what they're called. Video shaders. Complementary shaders. So that's what I am using. They are beautiful shaders. I have messed with the settings and stuff to make them look a little bit more stark. Got rid of all the blooming nonsense that makes things blurry. I honestly hate it when shaders do that. So I always turn that off. I forget what it's called, but look at it. Even from this side, with you can get the sunset in with the light and all. Ooh, I love it. I absolutely love it. All the glowy stuff, the glow berries glowing. Ooh, I like it. But I think that's gonna have to do it for this episode. Let me get off. Well, I've got my clothes on, but that's okay. We can go swimming. Oh yeah, I'm gonna relax in here for a bit. Just chill. Ooh, yeah, this is good. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like in real life, and look forward to the next couple of builds. We're going to be doing some big stuff, getting this town squared away. The main island's going to be wrapping up here soon, so look forward to that. And then we'll be getting into the underwater stuff, which is going to be fun to try and figure out. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, leave a like in real life, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Brew and Build. Bye-bye.